Okay, this is gonna get a little weird. I knew that we were in for a treat. All right, I wrote down some other things because I listened to all of it. I have some corrections, basically things that I would have interjected with if I was on the pod. All right, so some of these are small, some of these are big, some of these are just great Gordonisms and then notes. So, number one, you said Caitlin
I didn't know I
Tui's
was gonna
coach
get
was
like I didn't know I was gonna get analyzed here. It's like I feel like this is a therapy session for me on my podcasting skills.
Gonna get a letter grade after
no. I
this, it
just
seems.
letter grade was good. Cole, I mean, he did it by himself, except for the Josh Kerr podcast. So
I agree. It was
it's
great.
hard. It's hard to do 90 minutes. It's hard to do 15 minutes of a podcast by yourself. So letter grade's an A. But I'm adding these, Gordon, after the fact so people don't think we missed it because I caught
Got
it.
it.
I caught it. Okay, let me go through this. You said Caitlin Tui's coach is Ellie Hennis. It's actually Lori Hennis. Ellie Hennis is Lori's daughter, who is a former NCAA champion at NC
I
State.
said that.
Yeah, runner up in
He's
the
a slip of
hurdles
the
for
tongue.
North Carolina A&T, Leonard Mastari. I don't know how you pronounced his name, but you did not say Leonard Mastari. You made it a little more complicated than it need to be. You had a good bit on daylight savings, which I thought was fun. I liked when you just deviated from the rundown and just said, "What's the deal with airline food?" You also did one on hotel Wi-Fi. You're like, "Why is hotel Wi-Fi? Why are there two different prices?" I thought that was good. Um, you said Kambunji is like a consummate fifth, sixth, seventh person. She got a bronze at the World Championships in the 200. She has finished in that range, the 5, 6, 7, 8 range, often too, but she did have a bronze.
What year
You
was
didn't
that 200? What year was that 200?
2019. 2019.
Was that
Uh,
yeah? Well, didn't all the best women scratch that year? Was that
yeah, but she
like
still got a bronze. She
okay?
still got a bronze 2 World Championships ago. I'm just saying this is something I would have brought up if I was on the podcast. Because I don't want people to think that we missed it. You didn't know.
Sometimes 200 meter medals are a little bit like indoor medals. They don't really count because a lot of times the
Okay,
best sprinters all scratch in 200.
you got to say it like Josh Kerr said it, a lesser medal. A lesser medal.
Lesser
Still a
medal.
medal,
Yeah.
but a lesser medal. You didn't know the word snag, but luckily Colt was there to help you out. And the way you prompted him was, it's a word that starts with S. And
Yeah, that
Colt
was
was
good.
just Johnny on the spot.
That was good.
Also, Colt needed his mic on more. That's just a production note. I think I only heard his voice during the snag moment. There's no music in the beginning, which I realize is my fault. Uh, so I need to fix that because we
That
got
is on
like
you, Kevin.
15.
Yeah, that is on you.
Yeah, yeah. So a note for myself. Again, this is not just all about things that you guys uh, did wrong. Um, you said you compared something to Harry Potter, and I laughed. I don't remember what it was at this point, but I wrote down it's like Harry Potter. Um, in terms of bad picks, you picked against Ajay Wilson to medal even after the opening round, and we knew Keely Hodgkinson was out, which I would have lost my mind. Now you could say, Kevin, you're being revisionist because she won the gold going away. Why did you do that? But I mean, at the time, I definitely would have picked her at least for a medal. And then here's one. This is not your fault. This is not your fault because I'm still a bit confused about it. But you mentioned Devontae Burnett in your NCAA recap and his chances at USA's. He ran in the Jamaican trials last year. Now he's listed on World Athletics as US. But if you look on like Tila Stapaya, which is a stats database, it says he had a transfer of allegiance to Jamaica. Um, he, according to his profile on USC's website, his mother was born in Haiti. His father was Jamaican. He was born in Massachusetts, but he lived in Jamaica for 2 years growing up. But yeah, he ran for in NACAC championships for Jamaica, and then he ran in the Jamaican championships last year. So I don't know on that one because
Yeah.
in World
He's
Athletics he's still
probably
listed as US. Yeah, I would
he's
assume
probably
they
not
just haven't.
American now.
Yeah, I'm assuming they haven't updated it, but I don't knock you for that one. Um, oh, and speaking of allegiances that we've got mixed up, you didn't tell the story on the pod, but our colleague Brian, who famously took Charles Hicks's Strava segment in Fayetteville, said that you told Hicks that Brian took his segment. Is that true?
Yeah, we were sitting in the airport and eating a bagel, and the Stanford team was next to us. And I said, "Yo, Brian, that's Charles. You should tell him about your Strava segment victory." He's like, "No, Gordon." It's like, "No, just go up there and tell him." He's like, "No." I was like, "All right, I'll go." So I got up and I said, "Yo, my boy Brian just beat your Strava segment from 2020." And then they were trying to recollect when that happened. Um,
Yeah.
and he figured out they were doing like a post race workout his freshman year after like a track meet in Fayetteville,
Mm,
which is why it ran so fast. So yeah.
okay.
But then we opened up
Did he think it
conversation and we were having a good old time waiting for our flights.
good? Good. Did you wish him good luck at the U.S. Olympic trials this year
I did not. I don't know
or
if he
next time?
knows that was a thing that I'd done.
World champ trials. But that was pretty much it. I don't have anything else written down. Travis wants to know, Kevin, are you sad that the podcast was still successful without you and Gordon carried it all by himself? No, I was happy he did it. I just thought it was interesting that you went solo all those days. Like that's difficult to do. Now, I want to ask you this: was it easier because it was just recapping a meet that was fresh in your mind? Because I feel like it would be hard if you had 6 news items to get through. But was it easier because you had results?
Yeah, I mean, I was reacting to NCAA's and world championships. There's a lot to talk about, you know. So that's what makes it easy. There's just so much to talk about. So yeah, I got lucky. If it was like middle of 2020 and we're trying to do a podcast a day by myself about no
Yeah.
track, I'm gonna have I'm gonna be doing the Mount Rushmore of Akron's cross country team. Like that's what I'm gonna be doing. So uh,
Well, I remember the one time I
yeah,
started it solo. I started it solo one time when you were late. This was early on, maybe early 2021 or mid 2020. And it was a day where it's just like news stuff. And I was like, all right, let's see what we got here, guys. So there's new standards released. I'm gonna read them. It was rough. It was very difficult to do, but I commend you for it. Yeah, you also called Mark Floreni's steeple record soft, basically. I think you channeled Josh Kerr there. That was a good moment. I remember that one. All right, so let's get into. I want to talk about worlds again.